Percy in print. There was a lot of excitement in the station yard. Sir Topham Hatt had just announced that a well-known writer was coming to the railway to finish his book about famous steam engines and their journeys. Gordon and Sir Handel were being cleaned for his arrival. "I must look my best for my interview," boasted Gordon. "Obviously only engines with titles will make an impression," steamed Sir Handel. "I'm a title, I'm a Sir." Percy brought Gordon's coachers. "What's an impression?" he asked. Thomas explained that making an impression meant that you were important and everyone remembered you. It was a bright autumn morning when the writer sailed into the harbour from the mainland. Duncan was there to meet him with Sir Topham Hatt. Sir Topham Hatt agreed that the writer could ride in Duncan's cab. Duncan's nickname is Rock and Roll, and as usual he bounced and rocked all the way along the line. When they arrived at the station, the writer didn't feel well at all, and had to go and sit down in Sir Topham Hatt's office. "I certainly made an impression," boasted Duncan to the other engines. "Well, he'll certainly remember you," laughed Gordon. That afternoon, Gordon arrived at the station to take the writer along the main line so he could take note of the journey for his book. Gordon was so full of steam that he raced along the line, missing 3 stations. "The journey was a complete blur," complained the writer. "The engine went so fast for me to see anything." Gordon took this as a compliment and boasted to the little engines. Soon, Sir Handel arrived to take the writer back to the main station. The writer seemed relieved. "This looks like a sensible engine," he commented to the guard. Sir Handel proudly let off steam as he waited by the platform. This blew the writer's manuscript everywhere. His papers were in a terrible muddle. "I don't think the writer will forget me," huffed Sir Handel in the shed that night. The next day, a storm blew up and strong winds caused damage on the island of Sodor. Trees fell on many of the lines and across some of the roads. The writer was worried. He had to get his manuscript to the printers on the other side of the island. Today was the deadline, but the road was blocked. He telephoned Sir Topham Hatt and explained. "I know a route. It runs by the coast. We need Percy," replied Sir Topham Hatt. Percy was in the shed when his driver came to tell him the news. Percy was frightened by the strong winds, but he wanted to help. He puffed carefully along the wind-swept line. Sea spray splashed over the harbour walls, and Percy tried to keep steady while the wind whistled round his small wheels. At last, they arrived safely, and the writer delivered his manuscript. He was very pleased with Percy and asked if he could take his photograph. Percy was delighted. Many months later, Sir Topham Hatt came to the station yard with a big box of books. He gave copies to his staff. The contents were not what they expected. The writer was rather rude about engines like Duncan, Sir Handel and Gordon, but on the front page was an example of Percy as a fine example of a little 4-wheel saddle tank engine.